Thank you for tuning in to West Beach Yoga Online. This morning I'll be taking you through my 45-minute Hatha Flow class. This class is all levels, so just listen to your body and do what feels right for you. Don't worry about what a pose should look or should feel like. This is all about tuning in to yourself and being present for the next little while. So with that to say, just close down the eyes and we're just going to take a couple minutes to arrive here. So even though we're physically here, our minds may be somewhere else, thinking about something that happened yesterday, something that's going to happen tomorrow. But this is your chance just to shut off for a little while. Just focus on how your mind and your body are feeling. So perhaps you're feeling energetic or tired or stressed or peaceful, but just notice that feeling. You don't need to change it or judge it. Just take note of it. Start to bring your awareness to your breath. And just notice how it gently is filling your lungs and then leaving your lungs. From here, we're just going to start to pair a little movement with breath. So as you inhale, I'd like you to reach your arms all the way up. And as you exhale, just bring your palms together and bring your hands to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale. Inhale. Do that a couple more times. Moving at your own pace with your breath. One last time. Fully exhale out all your air. If you aren't here already, we're sitting in a cross-legged seated position. If you'd like to sit up on the edge of a pillow, you can do that, or on the edge of a block. That just tilts your pelvis forward so your spine is nice and long. We're just going to take a nice stretch through the shoulder blades. So we're going to go into eagle arms. So bringing arms to shoulder height, crossing right over left, wrapping the forearms together, pressing the palms together, and then lifting the elbows away from the body. If this doesn't feel good, just grab onto opposite shoulder blades and lift your elbows away. So just doing what feels right and nice for you here. Inhale and exhale here. And release back to shoulder height. We'll take it on the other side. Crossing left over right, wrapping, pressing palms together. And if you took this option, so you're switching which arm is on top. So the left arm would be on top this time. If you want a little more here, you can come into a gentle fold, so just leaning forward. So you'll feel more of an intense stretch in between the shoulder blades, upper back, relax the head and the neck. Inhale Inhale to come back up and release. Awesome. Let's just take a little stretch in the neck. So placing the left hand on the mat beside you, just gently place your hand on the side of your head, your right hand, and then gently just pull your head towards your right shoulder. So just enough so you could feel a nice stretch in the side of the neck. You can come forward if that feels better, or tilt your head back. So kind of finding that, whatever that sweet spot is for you. And release. Right hand comes down to the mat, taking on the other side. Inhale, exhale, gently pulling the head to the left. And release. So we're going to clasp our hands together just above our head, and then we're going to flip the palms so that your palms are now facing the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, reaching the arms up. So feeling a nice stretch all along the side body here. And if you feel like this is creating tension in the shoulders, just drop your shoulders down and then gently press up. So sort of reset there. We want to make sure in the yoga poses that we're doing that we're not actually still holding tension there. So you want to check yourself. Anytime your arms are above your head, it's a good time to check. Inhale, on the exhale, we're going to reach over to the right, grounding through that left hip. So feeling a stretch all along the side body, in between the rib cage. Inhale to center. Exhale, reaching over to the left, keeping that right hip grounded. And relax. Awesome. Extending both legs forward. Just give the knees a little shake. If you're not used to being in that cross-legged seated position, that can feel tight. And we're just going to come down onto our backs. We're going to move into a flowing bridge. So you're going to bend the knees here, and the heels are going to come quite close to your glutes, arms down along the sides. On the inhale, lifting the hips up, and as you lift your hips up, you're going to reach your arms overhead. Exhale, drop down, hips and arms fall. Inhale, lift the hips and arms. So just moving as you breathe at your own pace. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, lower. And take one last round. Awesome. And coming back down. From here, you're going to extend both your legs straight. And then we're going to lift and extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. And you're going to grab onto the back of the right leg. Inhale. On the exhale, gently pulling that leg in towards your chest. So we're feeling a nice stretch all along the back of the leg here. There's different stages to this pose, so you can flex your foot. You'll feel a little more in the calf there as you stretch. If you want a little bit of core work this morning, you can ground your low back into the mat, so make sure your low back is in touch with the mat, and then gently lift and hover that left leg, so hugging the belly button into the spine, so feeling some nice core work there. Maybe lifting your forehead towards your knee, that's going to get more of a stretch in the back of the right leg. And lowering that left leg if you have it lifted, and releasing the right leg down. And we'll take it on the other side. Remembering your options. You can also bend that other leg if that feels better. Everyone has a very different level of flexibility in their hamstrings. So if your leg has to be a bit bent, that's fine. Whatever's feeling good for you. Option to lift and hover the right leg, turning on the core a little bit. One more full breath cycle here. And we're just going to relax the knees in towards the chest, hugging those knees in, rolling from side to side. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit warmer. Start to rock and roll along the length of the spine. We're going to gain some momentum coming through into our tabletop position. And preparing for our cat-cow sequence. Inhale, lifting the crown of the head and the tailbone up towards the ceiling. So having a nice arch in the spine, letting your belly droop. Exhale, tacking chin and tailbone, rounding the spine, hugging your navel in towards your spine. Inhale to open. Exhale, round. Just keep moving at your own pace with your breath. Closing down the eyes. Taking this opportunity to turn inward. Really focus on how your body feels in these postures. Visualize your spine moving one vertebra at a time. Taking one final round here, and then resetting in your tabletop position. Just maybe widening the knees just slightly outside of your hips. You're going to sit your hips back over your heels, reaching your arms forward. So sort of like a child's pose, but we're going to move here. So keeping your gaze forward. On the inhale, you're going to move your body out and over your wrists, letting your hips drop, legs extending behind you. So this should feel a really nice stretch in your abdomen muscles, like your front of your body, your hip flexors. On the exhale, you're pulling back from the hip creases, sitting the hips back over the heels, reaching forward. Inhale, come forward, let the hips drop. Exhale, sit the hips back. So just keep moving here at your own pace with your breath. Let's take one more here. This active back bend. And then pausing back in your tabletop position. From here, we're going to move into a high plank. So stepping your right foot back and then your left. Hands are under your shoulder blades. You're going to push the mat away, opening up through the shoulder blades, sending the heels back, tailbone is tucked. And you're really, anytime you're in a plank position, or if I say you're turning on your core, I want you to think about clearing your throat. You'll feel your core tighten up and then hold it there. So that's where you always want your core to be when I say keep your core tight. From here, we're going to stay in a plank, but we're going to drop down onto our forearms. So at any point, if this is too much, just drop one knee down or the other. This is still working. And we're going to bring a little movement here. So this is a forearm plank. Your elbows are under your shoulders. And we're going to move the hips from side to center to the other side. So you're actually dropping your heels to the right as your hips drop to the side. And then heels drop left as your hip goes left. So almost like you're creating a rainbow shape with your hips. So just hovering as you move from side to side. Again, keeping that core nice and tight. And let's take one more on each side. And drop the knees down, pressing up into your tabletop. And just do whatever feels good here for some release. I like to move into a cat stretch and then sort of circle my hips. I feel like that sort of gets out all those sticky spots, rotating the other way. So doing whatever feels good for you here to get some release. And then coming to stillness, you're gonna round the spine, tuck the toes under, leading with the belly, lifting the hips up and back, coming into your downward facing dog. So you're gonna ground through your thumb and pointer finger. Your head's gonna fall naturally in between your shoulders, opening up through the shoulder blades, so thinking about biceps forward, triceps back, and then sending the hips right back. So you're really lengthening through the spine, maybe bending the knees a little to get your hips right back. Your heels definitely don't need to touch the floor. Again, everyone has different hamstring flexibility. It feels good for me to keep my knees a little bit bent. I feel more of a lengthening in my spine. So just maybe bringing some movement here, dropping one heel down and the other, bending the knees. Just settling into your first downward dog of the day, perhaps. And then looking forward, bending the knees. We're gonna tippy-toe the feet to the top of the mat. Just pausing in your fold here for a breath or two. And then slowly coming up to stand, one vertebra at a time. So like in the beginning of the practice, we were starting to pair movement with breath. So we're gonna do the same thing, but maybe a little more movement. Inhale the arms up, gaze comes up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back, so hands come to the shins or the knees. Back is flat, crown of the head reaching forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale the arms all the way up. Palms meet at heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale the arms all the way up. Palms meet at heart center. Just take a few breaths here. So again, checking in, seeing how you're feeling. Is it the same at the beginning of the practice? Are you feeling a little different? Just checking in. We're going to practice our balance. So we're going to move into an eagle pose. We already practiced the arms at the beginning of practice. So feet are going to come hip width. We're going to raise your arms to shoulder height, crossing right over left or grabbing onto opposite shoulder blades. Palms pressed together, elbows coming away from the body. Then I want you to sit your hips back like you're sitting in a chair pose. So weight is in the heels, shifting the weight into your right leg, crossing left leg over right. So at this point, you can just touch your toes down on the mat if that's more comfortable, or you can wrap that leg around your other one. Squeezing the thighs together. Bring your gaze down on something that's not moving, preferably. Lots of breath. And slowly release, so releasing that left foot and coming out. We'll give everything a little shake. Take some breaths and we'll prepare for the other side. Arms coming to shoulder height, this time crossing left over right or left arm on top. Sitting the hips back like you're sitting in a chair. This time shifting the weight into the left leg. Slowly peeling that right leg off, crossing like you're sitting cross-legged. And remembering your option for that right leg. Core is strong. Looking to whatever side of your arms feels better for you. Lots of breath here. And slowly release. Awesome. If you ever fall out of a balance pose, don't worry about it. We're just practicing our balance together. And it's important to practice your balance a lot in case you ever fell. It's a really good thing to know how to do. Okay, let's just release that for a second. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, we're gonna come into a dangling pose. So you can bend your knees a little here, but I want you to let your head and your upper body, your arms just dangle. Maybe grabbing onto opposite shoulder blades, or sorry, elbows. Maybe swaying from side to side if that feels good. Nodding yes or no. And then slowly coming up to stand. We're going to move into a little standing sequence, a little warrior sequence. So stepping the left foot back wide, bending that right knee, turning the left foot in a lot, chest and hip points come around to the front of the mat. Inhale the arms up, coming into your warrior one. So shoulder blades are back and down. Again, not holding tension in the shoulders. So if you need to have a slight bend in your elbows, that's going to open up the shoulders. Fingers are spread wide. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to open up to warrior two, widening the stance a little bit here so you can bend nice and deep into that front knee. Arms are straight, shoulders are aligned, so checking back. We're going to bring our hands to our hips, pivot on that back foot, half step your back foot in, keeping a micro bend in that right leg. We're going to move into our warrior three. So slowly hinging from the hips, hovering that leg. Option to stay here and just get your balance and then move into whatever stage of this pose feels good for you. So lifting that leg up a little higher till you're parallel perhaps. Releasing the arms back, and then maybe reaching them forward. You can also come into airplane arms. Hips are square, gaze is down, spine is long. Lots of breath. And release. Awesome. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Hands come to the mat. We're going to inhale to high plank. Option to take a flow, or you can move into downward facing dog. If you're taking your flow, inhale to come forward onto the tippy toes. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a full breath cycle here. From here, you're going to inhale the left leg all the way up, three-legged dog. On the exhale, we're going to bring left knee to left elbow, rounding through the spine, hugging that core in. Inhale the leg up. Exhale, knee to nose, rounding the spine. Inhale the leg up. Exhale, left knee comes across to right elbow. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, left foot steps up in between the hands. If you need to take a couple steps to get there, that's fine. Turn and flatten that right foot. Inhale the arms up. We're now into warrior one on the other side. Left knee is bent. Again, relaxing through the shoulders. Shoulder blades back and down. Opening up into our warrior two. So really widening the stance here. You want to get it so that your bent knee is over your ankle. Let your heels align with the arch of the back foot, pressing into the outer edge of that back foot. Arms are nice and strong. Bringing the hands to the hips, we're going to pivot, half step that back foot in, keeping a bend in that leg. Coming into your version of warrior three. Flexing that back foot, leading with the heel. Remembering your arm options. Lots of breath. Both legs are turned on in this pose. And release. Awesome. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to high plank. Option to take a flow or downward facing dog. From here, inhale the right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Rounding through the spine, hugging your belly button in towards your spine. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, right knee crosses over to left elbow. Inhale the right leg up. And we're going to step that right foot all the way up in between the hands. Lift your base, stepping up to the top of the mat. Reconnecting with your breath here. Taking a sip of water. That was an energetic standing sequence. So just taking a moment. When you're ready, we're going to step our feet really wide to the long side of the mat, and your toes are going to point out towards the corners of the mat. Heels are in. Inhale the arms up. Exhale. Hands come to heart center. And as you pull your hands down along the center of the body, you're going to bend the knees. So coming into a version of goddess pose. So settling in here, hips nice and low. And then from here, you're going to bring your hands behind your head. Inhale. Exhale, right elbow to right knee. So we're working a bit of the oblique muscles here. Inhale to center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale. Take it one more time on each side. Nice. And release. Keeping the feet wide, we're going to change our foot position a little bit. So now toes are pointed in slightly, pressing into the outer edges of the feet. Inhale the arms up. We're going to fold forward, hinging from the hips. So maybe you pause at flat back, hands come to the hips, just to come down a little bit slower, especially if you have low blood pressure. And then when you're ready, coming all the way down, hands come to the mat or blocks. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the inner thighs. You maybe want to come heel toe the feet a little bit wider, relaxing the head and the neck here. Maybe feeling your breath responding to this pose, so naturally wanting to lengthen the breath. If your feet are really wide, you might just want to heel toe them in a little bit. Your left hand comes under the face. Inhale the right arm up. We're taking a twist here. So feeling a more intense stretch in the left inner thigh. Releasing the right hand down to replace the left. Inhale the left arm up. And release. And then we're gonna come down into our fold for a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, preparing to come up. So again, you may want to heel toe the feet a little bit wider if your legs are really wide. And then slowly come up to stand, maybe pausing at your flat back and standing up. Coming to the top of the mat. We'll prepare for our sort of last energetic sequence of practice. So you're gonna bring your big toes together, heels apart. So preparing for chair pose. This bothers my knees, so you can also just keep your feet parallel to each other and about a fist width apart. And from here, you're slowly gonna start to bend into the knees, bringing the weight into the heels. Inhale the arms up, reaching forward. You can bring your arms all the way up alongside the ear. Again, I find this holds tension in my shoulders, so I sort of keep them halfway. Elbows slightly bent, rib cage is contained. You should be able to wiggle your toes here, sinking a little bit deeper maybe. Lots of breath. Bringing your hands together at heart center. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to twist towards the left, coming down a little deeper, hooking that right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Gaze comes over left elbow if that feels okay for the neck. Option to maybe open up the arms here, taking a bit of a chest stretch. Lots of breath. Palms together. Inhale to center. Bringing the hands to the hips, staying low, keeping that left knee bent. You're going to step the right foot back. Inhale the arms up, coming into your crescent lunge. So both knees are this knee is bent, knee over ankle. Back knee is slightly bent, tailbone tucked. Inhale. On the exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. We're going to drop that back knee down and release the toes. So taking a nice stretch in the hip flexors here. You can come up onto your fingertips, or if you have blocks, you can come up onto blocks. I find this is really nice, and it gives you some more space to sink those hips a little bit deeper. So getting deeper in that stretch. So whatever feels good for you. Chest is high. Grounding through that right hand. Inhale, we're going to lift the left arm all the way up, taking an easy twist. So maybe feeling a bit of a deeper stretch in that right hip flexor. Hand comes down. We're going to bring a little movement here. So inhale. On the exhale, pulling back from the hip creases, we're going to straighten that front leg, walk the hands back. Flexing the left foot, rolling the body forward, coming into a half splits. So feeling that stretch along the back of the left leg. Let's move between these two poses a few times. Inhale to come forward, low lunge. Exhale, moving back, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. take that one more time. And moving into your low lunge, pausing here, grounding through that right hand again. Inhale the left arm up, easy twist. Maybe taking this a step further, opening up through the hips, so rolling onto the outer edge of that left foot. Maybe bending that right leg, so heel coming towards the glute, maybe reaching back, looking back. So just letting those hips sink towards the mat. Lots of breath here. And release. We're gonna come on to the back toes here and lift your knee up, lift your base, step back to high plank, option to take a flow or downward facing dog. Bringing your gaze forward, bending your knees, walk or hop your feet to the top of the mat. Bringing those big toes together or feet just closely and bending through the knees. Inhale the arms up, taking chair pose on the other side. Weight is in the heels. Maybe coming a little bit lower on this side if you're feeling energetic. Palms come together at heart center. Inhale, exhale, twisting to the right this time, sinking deep, hooking that elbow, gaze comes up. Lots of breath. Maybe opening up through the arms. Maybe touching your hand down. Palms come together, inhale back to center. Hands come to the hips for stability, keeping that right knee bent. Stepping the left foot back, finding your crescent lunge. Inhale, exhale, hands come down to frame the foot, dropping that back knee down. Finding your low lunge on the other side, so uncurling the toes. Again, maybe coming up higher onto blocks if that feels good. Head and heart are high, so really giving yourself space to take a nice deep breath. So you don't want your head down here. Inhale, exhale, hips drop a little lower towards the mat. On your next exhale, you're pulling back with your hip creases, straightening that right leg this time, flexing the foot, rolling the body forward. Half splits. Inhale, we're going to move back and forth here between the two poses. So inhaling to low lunge, exhale, half splits. Inhale, exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to come forward, grounding through that left hand this time. Inhale, reaching the right arm up, taking an easy twist. I gypped you one of these on this side, sorry about that. So option to roll onto the outer edge of that right foot, so you can stay here feeling that hip open. You can draw that left heel back towards your glutes, reaching back, maybe sinking a little deeper. My left hip is definitely tighter on this side. The two sides of your body can be completely different, and that's fine. And it's great if you notice it. That means you're paying attention. You're in tune with your body, opposed to thinking about something else. and release. Awesome. Tucking your back toes under, lift your base, step back to high plank. Option to take a flow or downward facing dog. Okay, from here, just drop your knees down and we're gonna come down onto our bellies today. You're gonna bring your arms back and down along your sides. We're gonna prepare for locust pose, which is a prep pose for bow pose. So these are gonna be our back bends to finish off the practice. So your neck is in line with the spine, chin is tucked. On the inhale, you're gonna lift your head, shoulders, chest, arms, and legs. So everything is coming off of the mat. You're reaching your fingers back, reaching your toes back, squeezing your glutes, squeezing the muscles in your back. So the whole back of your body is turned on here. Lots of breath. And release. Awesome. If bow isn't in your practice, you can take locust again, or bending your right leg, grab onto the top of the right foot with your right hand. Bend your left leg, grab onto the top of the left foot with your left hand. Chin is tucked. Inhale, you're gonna press the tops of your feet into your hands, and you're naturally gonna feel your shoulders and knees lift up off of the mat. Lots of breath. And the more you press your feet into your hands, the more you're gonna feel that lift and that bend in your spine. And relax everything. Just rest your cheek on the mat for a few breaths. From here, I just want you to roll onto your back. Opening up your arms in a T shape, knees are bent. You can bring your feet wide to the outer edges of the mat and just start to windshield wiper the knees. So moving the knees back and forth. Just taking a nice moving twist here on your back, releasing the low back. And then taking one final pose or posture that your body needs right now. It can be anything you'd like. The blocks are conveniently there for my toes, that's great. And then I want you to find your final resting pose, your Shavasana or corpse pose. So coming down onto your back, legs are straight, or you can bring the bottoms of your feet together, let your knees open, arms down along your sides or open in a T, whatever feels good for you, to take a few minutes to just be still. Be still in your body, be still in your mind. Those last few minutes before you get back to your day. If you find your mind wandering in the next few minutes, what's been helping me lately as I breathe in, I say be in my mind, and still as I exhale. That's been my mantra lately. So feel free to use that to stay focused. free to stay in your Shavasana for longer if you can. Thank you so much for practicing with me today and sharing your time. And I hope to practice with you again soon. Namaste.